Hello, I'm Semele Sherry of Triple Moon, and for my first video of 2017 I wanted to post something that happened to me, hopefully to encourage each of you to follow through your intuitions and the information you receive from Source, and just to show you how it works sometimes. I think sometimes on the spiritual path we can sort of judge ourselves and think that information should come to us in a certain way, in a very clear way, like we should just suddenly know everything in full and understand everything in full. And for me anyway, that's often not the way it goes. You're kind of given little clues and little tidbits that you have to kind of follow through and experience for yourselves. And sometimes also, and this is what this video is about, sometimes there's a truth that you know up here, you know it's in your mind, and you kind of understand it in your mind as well, but then something in your own personal experience really brings that truth home to you. And that's what happened for me. What I was doing was I was practicing a period of deep breathing, just completely resting and dissolving into my breath, deeply breathing in and out, not trying to do anything or know anything, literally just being in that breath, following it as it moved in and out of my body. And as I rested in that space for about 5 minutes, as I came out, as I began to come back to the world around me, I just heard very clearly in my mind this instruction. I just heard rearrange the words, rearrange the letters rather, of the word breathe. And this is where you absolutely have to trust. So I thought, fine. I went upstairs, I got a piece of paper and a pen, and the rearrangement came immediately without me even thinking about it. I rearranged the letters, apart from the last one, which I'll explain, therein lies the mystery. I just straight away wrote be at. That came completely clearly and just naturally, and I crossed off the letters as I was going to make sure I was using all of the letters that were in the word breathe. And the only letter that was left then was H, so I put that at the end. Now, be, obviously you need to put a hyphen in there, but be, to be again, to be once more, makes perfect sense, to come back into a state of being. And at, that's the place you're going to. But then I was left with H. So I completely understood that what Spirit was trying to tell me, what Source was trying to show me in this, was that in this process of deep breathing, I was bringing myself back into a place of experiencing and being in a certain place, at. That I completely understood. But H, what was H? Now, initially my intuition said H. In the English language, the first word that came to me was home. And again, that makes complete sense, because it is a wisdom that we're taught in yoga, especially as we learn to breathe, but in other disciplines too, that breathing as the source of life, as the source of all creation, if you like, breathing is God. It is Mother, Father, God. It is the Creator. It is the source. And so that completely made sense, that when you lose yourself in the breath and in your breathing deeply, and you just rest in that, then you come into this state of being in which you are home, you are one with the source. You are back to your original state of being. But then I wanted to explore the H more, and I have this kind of mind that stores away little bits of information and then it will bring them to the fore. Kind of Spirit gives me a bit of a nudge and an elbow and says, you need to follow that through. So I went on to Google and I had in my mind a Hebrew letter. So I just Googled, what is the Hebrew letter H? And it's Hey, H-E or H-E-I. I've seen it spelt too. So the Hebrew letter He. And the meanings of that just blew my mind, because He, it has several meanings. It can mean the abundant outpouring of grace from God that is not earned, it is not deserved particularly, it just is given freely to you. So the abundant grace and blessing of God. And He also symbolises the feminine aspect of God. And then the meaning that completely kind of topped it all off and tied it all up for me was it can also mean breath. The breath of God. And so what I have now in my rearranging of re, be, at, H. Be again at home in the breath, at home in the source. And it was like coming full circle. And I realised how potent and powerful this act of just being at one with your breath can be. And I saw that we ourselves are the in-breath and out-breath of Mother, Father, God. Because as we choose to move into physical body, into form, it is like Mother, Father, God breathing us out, and we individuate and we come into form and we incarnate into a physical body. And then if we are conscious and awake, we spend our lives in the process of finding our way back to that source, of finding our way back to Mother, Father, God, remembering what that state is. And in our final out breath, as we breathe our last and we die, we are breathed back on the in-breath of God. We are breathed back in to source, back into that oneness. And that is the tremendous and beautiful mystery that we are partaking of when we rest in our breath, when we truly sit in that deep breathing. We are remembering both our individuation, our choice to move away and to express ourselves personally as an aspect of the source. And we are also remembering that at the same time, we are never apart from the source. We are always a part of source. And so I know this isn't an earth-shattering revelation that no one else has come out with yet, but for me, that simple prompting at the end of my exercise helped me to come to a true, deep and personal knowing of the truth of the beauty of the breath in my heart here. So my understanding had moved purely from up here, knowing and taking in that knowledge, and then moving it into the heart to know and experience it. So I wanted to share that story because just to encourage you that the information and the promptings that you'll get from Spirit will come in many different ways that suit your personality and the way you like to explore things. So I'm a bit of a wordsmith. I like to write, I like to play with words, and that's how Spirit kind of got me tied into exploring this. And I like a bit of a mystery. I like to use Google, I think I've said that before, and kind of, delve in and find out what the truth is behind certain things that I've got little clues to, but I don't know the whole story of. And so listen to those promptings, always follow through on them, and you will come to deep understandings that are personal and unique to you, and that will really, really highlight and light up your own spiritual path and journey. So I hope that's encouraged you in some way, that sometimes you don't just get downloads of knowing it all and understanding it all. Sometimes you're given little clues that you need to follow along the way. So as this is the first video of the year, I'd like to wish you a very happy new year and every blessing for 2017. And I'll speak to you again soon.